Before doing the rally, I had really clear expectations of what this was going to be, how it would feel, how it would look, the people, the roads, the views. I had a very clear picture of what it was going to be, and what made this truly epic and a lifetime experience is we exceeded it in every single regard. We became the #1 fundraising group of all time for the Mental Health Foundation. We rode this country on some of the most stunning days to people that we met along the way. I can't tell you what it feels like to be in that position where your expectations are exceeded. It's just phenomenal.
Motorally Aotearoa 2021 is a charity scooter rally where the riders travelled from Cape Reinga to Bluff in 10 days. 3,300 kilometres, 16 in the team, and the message they wanted to put across is, we all have mental health.
What resonated with people about this event was not just what we were doing, but how we were doing it. The fact that we were doing it on something that was a little bit special, a little bit unique, caught attention, and what we wanted to do was catch attention.
So about 15 months ago, Perry came to see me and we caught up for a beer, and he said, I got this idea about supporting mental health and riding scooters.
Being a motorcyclist and scooter rider, I'm keen for any chance to go off and have an adventure on a motorcycle or scooter, so that caught my attention.
It seemed like a great way to give back to the community, and we all have mental health around us, personally or in the community at any given time.
Mental health is really at epidemic proportions in New Zealand, and we still don't want to talk about it nearly enough. We're all very happy to talk about our physical health, but our mental health is something that we have got some sort of hesitation to talk about, and I think it's something that, if nothing else, we can actually make more awareness about our mental health and the ability to actually talk about that.
As the group of founding riders expanded, we sat down and we started planning about what we would need. If we wanted to make this motor rally successful, that we needed to pull on the networks that we had, not just in terms of getting donations, but getting support.
The social media input that we've had from a number of people has been powerful and really worthwhile. You're still connecting with people and inspiring people and getting people to, I guess, share in your dream of making this thing as big as it can be.
The team got 9 sponsors aboard who really took them to the next level, including Rod and Gun, Vespa, Winger Motors, Colliers, Mason Vaurong and Westpac.
Through their brand ambassador program, bought us Sir John Kerwin and Willie Appiata. Having JK on board through David, through the Westpac brand, was great. He spent a day with us on the scooters. We dropped into Westpac branches where he was speaking.
We have the highest suicide rate in the developed world, and we need to change that.
He talks about mental health is our Everest, and we need to climb this very high mountain. The next day we had Willie Appiata, a true Kiwi hero. He joined us as we headed out of Auckland. It was a real blessing and a real privilege to meet these guys and spend time with them.
The choice of charity for us was important, and I think doing something like this, rather than just having a fun scooter ride with a bunch of people, it has a purpose behind it. Having that purpose is what really has brought everyone together.
We started off with Sean Robinson and his team at Mental Health Foundation. Pretty early on, 2019 I think was the first meeting. Sean wasn't too sure at all about these guys who turned up in his boardroom.
They said, that's lovely chaps, go away and do that, that'd be nice. That bought us more time to perhaps put the rally together in a more fully formed state. I think at that point, and they started to believe that what we said we would do, we'd actually get out and do.
So we're in the rally, we're stopping in small town New Zealand, little tiny cafes. We're all decked out in our pink vests with "We all have mental health" on the back.
For me, the most enjoyable part really has been seeing our wonderful country. You probably see a bit more of the countryside from a scooter than you would in a car. We've had amazingly good weather, tremendously friendly people along the way, and it's really just been an amazing way to see New Zealand.
One of the real things I really value is getting to know these great guys doing this. I guess there's going to be some good friendships coming out of this. Probably will be, friends going forward for a long time. So that's been great. That's been powerful. I get a lot out of that.
Absolutely, it's how everyone looks after one another there isn't pressure to go fast or to keep up. You know, you ride your own ride. For me in particular, probably being the least experienced rider has been a huge positive for me.
I liked everything about the tour, but I think maybe the most memorable one would be probably the dinners we all had together at the end of the day. I think that was, for me, the highlight of the tour is when we all got back together around the table and sharing our meals and sharing our stories.
There are good in so many people, and it was so evident. I think we were all so involved with the cause that we were partaking in. People weren't thinking about themselves, people were thinking about this group activity which would benefit the Mental Health Foundation and would trickle down to help the communities in need.
But the moments that resonated with me most were those complete chance conversations that we had in places where we just did not expect to have conversations.
Further down the road on the Kapiti Coast, I'd done an interview with Jim Moira, and one of the listeners clearly identified with what we were doing. He jumped in his car, he drove half an hour or so to come and see us at this cafe, and he came up and introduced himself to me, and his name was Wayne. He said that he'd had mental health challenges his whole life. He said, I just wanted to give you a donation, and he gave me $5. And for me it was like getting $5,000. Kind of felt weird. Simon said that, you know, we have to take that $5. I didn't want to take it, but we have to take it because he's feeling great doing it on his side, and what we were doing is what we should have been doing on our side.
Just as we'd entered Southland, we stopped at a small town called Athol, and we ended up in a cafe that we hadn't planned to be in. And then we ended up being a little bit delayed at that cafe because one of the bikes just had a small mechanical issue that we were resolving. And because we were a bit late, a farmer walked in the door and he said, guys, what are you doing? And I told him. And he said, you won't believe it, my brother's best mate took his life last week. Tell me about this and how can I help you?
As we walk into this cafe, the mother is literally on an iPad searching, how do I help my son with mental health? Then she's confronted with 16 guys in pink vests, but that was just an extraordinary window into what it was like for us on the rally.
And that was one of many, many conversations here and there that we had. And I think if we did anything in those chance conversations, we gave people hope that there's a bunch of guys out there trying to do something about this and to help with this.
But an event like this is not without challenges, both physical and mental, that the 16 riders and support crew faced throughout the rally.
It's being very aware of your scooter's limitations. They're not designed for open road riding, they're not designed for speed. It's really important that we all recognise our own limitations as well.
Dealing with the fear of, you know, when you first get on a bike, the fear of being in traffic and on roads and going at high speeds and things like that. From a, you know, very poignant mental health perspective, that's one thing we all have to do is to deal with fears and anxieties. No matter how they come up every day.
I wish I had some better answers or some more knowledge or a better understanding. I know that I went on this rally because I was ashamed about how little I knew about mental health. You know, we'd said really easily what we were doing, but I just was short the next level below that.
The guys at Mental Health were interesting. They said, you realise that what you're doing encapsulates exactly the 5 steps to wellbeing that we promote, and you know, that hadn't quite occurred to us.
So they talk about give. So give your time, your words and your presence. They talk about being active. Do what you can to improve your mood, so move your mood. They talked about keep learning, embracing new experiences, challenging yourself to grow. The next one is connect, so this is about listening and talking and connecting and engaging with people. And then the last one is take notice, and this is about finding joy in all the little things in the world that give you joy every day. And if we look at all that, the rally for us was so good for our well-being that we really got to experience this at first hand.
You know, the journey that we went on was A to B to C as we went through New Zealand on these particular legs, and I guess mental health has similar parallels.
It takes a certain amount of understanding what you're doing. It takes a bit of preparation along the way, It certainly takes teamwork.
You need other people to get through it. You know, the other morning before we left Thai Happy, I was nervous about, maybe a slippery road because of frost and all that stuff. So we just had a discussion in the room. Just talking about it relieves the anxiety. And I think that's the first thing in what we're doing about all this, is that it's okay to talk about it.
Let's take it gradually and slowly as a kind of series of steps. And in the same way that we went forward with the rally as a series of steps. Because at the beginning it was like, wow, it's a long way from Cape Reinga to Bluff. Well, it is, but if you do it in steps, you get there.
If I had to sum up where this was extraordinary, the journey, the physical journey was epic. It was just unbelievable.
Every day I saw some amazing part of this amazing country and
An amazing accomplishment for all of us as a team and what we've achieved.
I've appreciated the people we've met along the way.
Everywhere we stop, somebody comes up and they all have a story and they're all different, and it's surprising the amount of mental health issues there are in the country. This is something that does affect everybody. We do all have mental health.
Theirs is a far bigger challenge than what we faced.
The real journey is having this conversation that everybody needs to be having, and actually we got to be doing more than the conversation.
They started as a loose collection of guys who were interconnected in small ways, joined together by an interest in mental health, scooter riding, and a love of Aotearoa, New Zealand. By the time they finally hit Bluff, they were a tight band of brothers who knew they'd done something very special.
Just go away, please. I can hear you from here.
I love it.
Drink while you're riding along. just. I can't even hang on to the fucking phone. So I'm going to pick up a bottle of water. Jesus. Well, that's embarrassing.
Your lines are way off. Your lines are so far off. Draw how you ride it.
No, you do not do that.
Okay, Kim.
Whatever answer Simon comes up on, I'll follow.
We're going all over the place.
Do you remember doing this in school? Oh yeah, flicks. Yeah, flick. Just play flick. And then you'll end up off the bloody road.
One of a lifetime, sharing a room with a CEO of Westpac in Taipei, then that could be a memorable tie as well.
A memorable moment of the rally would have to be having a wee chat with a fairly enthusiastic police officer somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Mark, where are you going? He pointed to you. To you.
What was that word? 120 bucks?
How's your lolly stash doing?
My what?
Your lolly stash.
Oh.
Topped up? Oh my god. It's more than I expected, that's for sure.
And there's more in the bag. There's more in the bag in the van.
Oh my lord.